How's it going? Tyler of Weekly Metal Reviews here with an album review. This time I'm going to be talking about Serpents Unleashed from the band Skeletonwitch. This came out today, October 29th, through Prosthetic Records. This is their fourth album. And yeah, I'm here to talk about this. So this is the follow-up to 2011's Forever Abomination. That's the album that I dig the most from Skeletonwitch. That's my favorite. Just because I feel that the songwriting is just so quality on there. It's just fast, it's aggressive, and it's just got a lot of really good tracks on there. Don't get me wrong. I know a lot of fans like Beyond the Permafrost the most from this band, and I do think that is a fantastic record. I just feel that Forever Abomination, that's the one that got me into Skeletonwitch. That's the one that just sticks with me the most. And Breathing the Fire is good, too. Just want to throw that out there. Can't forget that one. So, I was looking forward to this. I picked this up when I saw them with the Black Dahlia Murder in Fallujah a couple days ago. I've been listening to this non-stop to try to get a really good opinion on it, because the first time I listened to this, first few times actually, I didn't really dig it. I couldn't get into it. I just don't know why. It just was not hitting me. I just thought it all really, really meshed together really bad. Nothing really stuck out to me. But I'm glad I really stuck with it before I did this review, because it definitely has grown on me a lot. And I'm glad, because it is a really solid album. Now, I don't think it's their best, but it is definitely worthy of, your Skeletonwitch collection. It's worthy of, their discography. And it does have some of their best material on in their career to date. Now the record starts off with the title track, Serpents Unleashed. And to be honest with you, that song, I still can't get into it. It doesn't really do anything for me. It's only like little over 2 minutes long. And I just feel like it doesn't really go anywhere. It doesn't have anything that stands out to it. And I can't get into it. I always, somewhat skip it and get to Beneath Dead Leaves. It's a great track. There's a lot of, Skeletonwitch is a blackened thrash band, if you want to call them that. And so, for the most part, they are very thrashy, they are very fast and aggressive, but at times they really show through with their black metal, influences, and that's a track that I just felt, the black metal influence was a little bit more prevalent than the thrash metal. And with the vocals, it's very black metal as well in my mind. And I think some of my favorite tracks on here include I Am of Death, Hell Has Arrived. That chorus is awesome. I just love the groove and catchiness of the chorus in that song. Burn from Bone, the first single that they released, is just so cool. That intro is very catchy, just some simple guitars going on and simple chords, and then it kicks in with some very, very cool harmony, and I really, really loved that. Another track that really stuck out to me was Unending, Ever Living. Very great track, and I would have to say my favorite one is The Evil Embrace. This song is really what it says. It is evil. It starts off with some very black metal influenced riff. It just was so evil, and you just grind your teeth, and you're like, yes. You feel like when you're listening to this, you're doing some like demon worship over here or something. And the song just goes through a couple changes, and I just dug the fucking shit out of it. The solo is awesome in this song, and then the riff at the end was just, the way it just kind of progressed and changed. It was almost like the riff at the end was kind of happy. It was very epic. It was just glorious. It was just great. I loved it. And I feel that this album, for the most part, is a very solid album. I feel that the only thing I don't like about it is that it is slightly inconsistent. And when I say slightly, I only mean like that much. There's only a few songs on here that I don't feel anything from them. They feel like filler tracks. They're just meh. And such as Serpents Unleashed, the title track. I just feel it's a very meh track. and you know, I know Skeleton Witch can do a lot better with that, as you know they show on the rest of the album. I would just say that, you know, for about every 3 or 4 really good songs in a row, there's about one just man one. So it's not like, you know, it's so horribly inconsistent that there's one good song and then two bad ones and then two good ones and then blah blah blah. It's just a couple songs I just cannot get into, and I just don't really feel that I get anything out of them. That's the only thing that I really feel is kind of wrong with this album. Otherwise, it is a very, very good album. It has your Skeleton Witch trademarks. It's just nonstop aggressiveness. It is fast. It is very heavy at times. It is evil sounding, and it's so fast. It's very short. You know, all Skeleton Witch albums have been pretty short. I mean, this one just kind of flies by. And, you know, once you actually get into this album, it kind of sucks you in, and it goes by even faster because it's that good of an album. Now, I think that the guitar work on here, though, is probably some of the best of Skeleton Witch's discography. It is really, really good. Nate Garnett and Scott Hedrick, I hope I pronounced that right, very good guitar players. They're fun to watch, and you know, they really write some very catchy riffs, some very crunchy riffs. This record and this band in general just has some of the crunchiest riffs you will ever hear. I think one of the crunchiest riffs that they have is from the song Choke Upon Betrayal from Forever Abomination. Just, and you'll know what I mean if you listen to that song. Just that groove and that crunchiness to that riff is just amazing in that, to the one riff in that song. And that's found on here some very, you know, just meaty, fucking huge, monstrous riffs that I just really, really enjoy as a guitar player. And like I said, the soloing is top notch on here. Just absolutely amazing. Now, when it comes to the drums, I want to try to get this right. Dustin Boltes? Hope I said that right. He's a hell of a drummer, and I feel that he's, you know, could quite possibly be one of the most underrated drummers in metal. I mean, he delivers a hell of a performance on this record, as he has in every Skeleton Witch record. But I just particularly really enjoyed listening to the drums on here, and they really stood out. Especially, you know, the beginning of Burn from Bone. Just, you know, some of his fills and all that stuff in the very beginning of that were really, really cool to listen to. And overall, a very solid drum performance. I love the song, the last track, More Cruel Than Weak. How the drums and the rest of the band kind of comes in kind of Metallica Orion style. You know, it just kind of all fades in to this, you know, to when it starts off with the guitar, the entire band and the drums just kind of fade in. I thought that was pretty cool. Now, granted, Metallica and Skeleton Witch are complete opposite ends of the spectrum. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying this band's like Metallica, but that little moment there, I was like, you know, that's kind of cool. A little bit of production value going on there. And speaking of production, this is by far the best production that Skeleton Witch has had. This is a very clean sounding album. And I'm one that really digs clean sounding albums. I really like good productions. But with a band like Skeleton Witch, I feel that a little bit of a clean production doesn't really suit it all the time. I feel like that's one reason why I really like Forever Abomination. It had their best production at that point to date. It sounded good, but it still felt really really raw production wise. That I really just. It's something I could really get behind. I just felt this raw, evil factor to it, and I just really enjoyed it. Now, don't get me wrong, just because this has the best production that they've ever had does not kill it. It still feels raw in that, you know, there's this raw, bundled up energy in all these songs. But the production just feels a little too clean for me. What have I not touched? Chance Garnett's vocals they're Skeleton Witch. I mean, it's vocals as he has always delivered this band's entire career, and I mean he gets better and better with each album. It's, you know, there's a lot of ows going on over here. I love his vocals too, though. I mean, they're very cool, and he writes some very, very cool vocal passages that I just really dig. And, I mean, overall, a very solid vocal performance. But, like I said before, overall, a very solid album. Yeah, the production is maybe a little bit too clean for this band. In my mind, that is completely personal opinion. Of course, all of this is, but that especially is complete personal opinion. You could think differently, and that's cool if you do. And besides a few inconsistencies with this, the catchiness or the songwriting or whatever, this album is good. So I'm going to give this about probably an 8.5 out of 10. Check it out, Skeletonwitch, Serpents Unleashed, and it comes with this very badass poster. I have to say, I still got to hang it up. I just haven't yet, of the album and the album art, which this is by far the coolest album art that this band has had. They've always had cool album art. This one blew me away the first time I saw it. So right there is just a good reason to go buy the physical copy of the record, because you get this badass poster and you get a badass record. So I'm gonna conclude this review. Thanks for watching. As always, there's so many albums coming out recently. We're gonna try our absolute best to get a review up of all of them that we want to touch, and so bear with us. We're going to try as good as we can. There's lots of cool stuff, Norma Jean, Let Live, Asking Alexandria. Sam's going to do, dare I mention Asking Alexandria in a Skeletonwitch video, but Warbringer, Cataclysm. Fuck, I could go on forever. See you around.